we're on Forbes Avenue in Pittsburgh, and we're actually on the same block that Dad grew up at here. Yeah.
Well, we'd be sitting on a stoop out here, and everybody would be talking to mothers and brothers and sisters. All be sitting out here talking. Sometime, every once in a while, somebody would say, well, you know, what the hell, why don't we play cards? Let's get a set of cards. And we sit out here, and we start playing cards. Everybody would sit out until about midnight. Sit out, talk, and then go inside and go to bed.
Okay.
All right. This is about the center of our activity. We played baseball back here, softball. We played basketball. The basketball hoop was hung on this pole here. And we played football.
Yeah, so you tell me about your basketball hoop on this.
We put a basketball hoop up there, and we found out after a couple of days that we had it up there, that as soon as one of these big tractor trailers came through here, they came close enough to that curb that they could knock that hoop off. So we took the hoop, we took that bottom board off, and we connected the hoop onto the bank board with wing nuts. So at night we would take it off and take it in the house. We used to play a game that was called Buck, how many fingers up? I don't know if you ever saw that. Yeah. I'll tell you about this game. One guy would stand here like this on our team, and there'd be two teams. And the next guy behind him would put his head between my legs and his hands down on the ground. And we had about 3 or 4 of those out. And the other team, they would run as fast as they could and jump as far as they could into this thing. And if they knocked us down, then it was their turn. We used to say, Buck, how many fingers up? Now, if we guessed how many fingers were up, then we would change teams. This one fence was a little bit higher than that. That's probably about 6 foot or so, and we took and started and built a shed out of that. That was one side, and we built the other side.
So you used the fence as one side of the shed.
And then on that side, there was a stone wall. There was a brick wall because there was a building there.
Yeah.
So that was the other side of it. So we built one post over here. Now we had two sides built.
Yeah.
Now we had to build this side over here, and we had to build this side over here, and the roof.
Yeah.
And we used to use this corrugated metal.
Right.
And we put a lock on the door, and only the members that belonged to that had a key to get into that lock. Okay.
Did you keep things in there? What happened?
Yeah,
there?
we everything. When we could find things, we found a carpet, and we put the carpet on the floor. That was a dirt floor. Don't forget.
Yeah.
So then we found we needed heat. We found a pot-belly stove somebody had left out. So we put a pot-belly stove in there with a chimney going out through the roof.
Yeah.
And then we find some soft chairs that people were throwing out, and we put those in there.
Yeah.
And then we have a few just folding chairs and a what's it called that small table now? A
Coffee table?
like a coffee table, and we would have that there, and that's where we would play cards.
Oh, so you had your own little card club.
Card club, right there. We used to shoot crap.
Dice.
We shoot dice.
We
shoot dice, and all the money, we put all the money up there. But we're shooting dice. Now, first thing you know, we're here shooting dice, and the cops started to know we were going to be shooting dice there. So they start coming up the alley.
That was illegal?
Huh?
That was illegal.
Yeah. So they start seeing us coming up the alley, and we take off and hide. And then they never came to look for us. And after a while, I said, they're not coming looking for us. They're picking up our goddamn money off the street. So fuck them. Before they get here, I'm picking up all the money and put it in my pocket, and then they stop coming. This was a junkie in here.
Junkyard.
He bought all the junk. So we decided we could find these cardboard. So we would go out, when they were done with them, they would lay there. We'd go out and pick them up. We come down and sell them to the junkie until we got a quarter.
So they were heavy, so you just carry lots of cardboard.
Well, we had a wheelbarrow.
Uh-huh.
I mean, a wheelbarrow, A wagon.
A wagon.
An
Okay.
old broken down wagon somebody didn't want. We found it, put them on there, come down here and sell 'em. Now when we got a quarter, we would go down to the Stanley Theater, and one guy would pay to get in, 25 cents.
Uh-huh.
And then he would go up to the second floor, and they had a fire escape. We pull the fire escape down, he'd go up to the second floor, and he'd open up the door, and we all come running up and go in. We go in, and we scatter throughout the balcony, sitting there watching a movie, and they close the door, and you never could find out who the hell came in, who the hell broke in. But that would be a Saturday activity.
Yeah.
That we would go out and collect the junk, sell it, and then get downtown and go to the movie.
So,
Now-
so when you had a desire to go to the theater, you had to go get the junk and sell the junk in order to go to the theater.
Yeah, but now, one time we had an extra nickel. So we're walking down Fifth Avenue downtown, and we used to have these grates let the steam out where they either heated the building or did something else. They're walking along, and I dropped the damn nickel through this grate. And we could see it down there, but we couldn't get it. And you couldn't pick up the grate.
Yeah.
So we walked around until we found pieces of wood and we tied together. And then we found some chewing gum and chewed the chewing gum up and put it on the end of the stick. We reached down, and we got that nickel. And that got us a candy bar that we could split 4 ways in 5 days. So money was tight, you know. It was worth all that work for a nickel. You know? This is Gist Street. We used to live between Gist Street and Jamonville. That was the block. But Gist Street, they finally asphalted. This used to be cobblestones also. So they put asphalt on this street and asphalt down around Tustin, down that way. So of course we find, you know, people that had some money, they throw away an old pair of skates. So we get an old pair of skates and we find a 2x4 and we would attach the old pair of skates, half of it to the front and half of it to the back. Then we go to one of the places where they sold fruit, and the fruit always came in a basket, in a box.
Wooden box.
A wooden box.
Yeah.
So we take the wooden box, we would attach it to the 2x4, and then we get 2 pieces of wood, and we put them on
Like
top
handles.
of that, handles, and that's what we would ride. That was our scooter.
Scooter, yeah.
So we would ride our scooter from there all the way down here, and then shoot around the. I started to work at Stutz, which was down on Forbes Avenue, for when I was about 10 years old, as a soda jerk.
It was a pharmacy, right?
It was a pharmacy. All pharmacies had soda counters, ice cream. So I went to, finally I saw Darling's down there. I wanted to go down and work down there. So I went down there and got a job down there when I was about 11 years old.
Darling's also a drugstore as well.
Also a drugstore, but that's where all these gangsters all hung out, in this drugstore. And I went down, and what I wanted at the time, I wasn't going to college yet. I wanted to make money to put in my pocket. I never wanted to be broke. I mean, and I don't remember ever, from that day on, I don't ever remember being broke.
And so did your parents ask you to get a job, or did you do it on your own?
I just went and got my own job. I got a job because I wasn't about to come back and ask my mother for money, because I knew that they didn't have it.
Yeah.
I grew up during the Depression. I was born in 1931. And during the Depression, a lot of people were on what they called the bread line, and that's why my mother used to like Roosevelt. But my mother would make for me for a lot of meals. She had a bowl about so big, and she would put a little bit of coffee in it and fill the rest of it with milk. And then she would break bread in it and put sugar in it, and that was a meal.
It's like a dinner?
For any meal.
Yeah.
I mean, for any meal, whether it was dinner, breakfast, whatever it was, I was hungry, that was a meal. Now, fine, I was satisfied.